The Sacramento Kings. One thing they might be known for is being on the receiving end of the infamous 2002 Western Conference Finals against the Lakers. If it wasn't for that, they were probably the favorites to win it all. That was when they had a great team with Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, Peja Stojakovic, Vlade Divac, and Doug Christie. But since then, they have not been able to replicate that success at all. In fact, the Kings currently hold the longest playoff drought, as they haven't made the playoffs since 2006. In the past 10 years, the Kings have only won more than 30 games just twice. So what's been going on in Sacramento? What is up with everybody? My name is Luke, and in this video we're going to look at why the Sacramento Kings still haven't made the playoffs for over 10 years. How have they been rebuilding, and what did they do wrong? First, let's take a look at the last time the Kings made the playoffs, which, as mentioned before, was in 2006. By this time, most of the key players mentioned earlier were gone, with only Mike Bibby and Peja Stojakovic remaining. This team also had other players like Metta World Peace, Kevin Martin, and Shareef Abdur-Rahim as guys you might recognize. This team finished with 44 wins and would lose to the Spurs in the first round of the playoffs in 6 games. For the next couple of seasons, they attempted to remain competitive but didn't really go anywhere, so they blew it up and started what would become a seemingly endless rebuild cycle. Surely enough, for the 2008-9 season, the Kings sucked. They finished with a franchise worst 17 wins and got the 4th pick in the 2009 draft. This draft class is actually one of the best in recent history, with players like Blake Griffin, James Harden, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, Drew Holiday, and even guys like Jeff Teague, Ty Lawson, Danny Green, Darren Collison, among other role players. But anyway, with their lottery pick, the Kings selected Tyreke Evans, who had an insanely good rookie season. He finished the season averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists, joining at the time Oscar Robertson, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James as the only rookies to average 25 and 5. So that's some great company to be with, and Evans won Rookie of the Year, so there was hope among Kings fans that Tyreke would become even better and blossom into their star and their franchise player. Although Sacramento did only win 25 games this season, there was at least some promise with Tyreke's impressive start. Oh, and also, in this season, the Kings traded away Kevin Martin for Carl Landry due to Martin's concerning history with injuries. But in hindsight, this trade was terrible, as Landry did not stay long and Martin continued to be a good scorer in Houston. Making bad trades was definitely a pattern for the Kings management, and this was the first of several. Continuing on, in the 2010 draft, the Kings got the 5th overall pick, which they used to draft DeMarcus Cousins, the player that some scouts thought might have been the best in this draft class, but the problem was his attitude, of course. And it turns out that this would be a pretty big problem, as during his time with the Kings, he got into foul trouble many times, and led the league in technicals for several seasons. But the duo of Evans and Cousins was supposed to be a part of the bright future for the Kings. But of course, that did not happen, as Evans started to deal with injuries and Cousins, as mentioned before, had attitude issues, and the Kings only won 24 games during the 2010-11 season. In the 2011 draft, the Kings traded Beno Udrih for Jimmer Fredette, who had an incredibly good college career at Brigham Young University, so the hype was pretty real. But as the story goes, he was awful and fell out of the league later because he was too arrogant. At least he's killing it in China though. Fast forward to the summer of 2013, and the Kings traded away Tyreke Evans because of his injury problems, and he regressed from his rookie year. But honestly, that was largely because the Kings could not develop him properly. He was a point guard who is a good passer as well as effective with the ball, but the Kings were making him play as a catch and shoot wing, which was really uncomfortable for him because, well, he wasn't a wing, couldn't defend other wings, and wasn't really much of a shooter. If you look at their draft picks for the next few years, there's a pretty obvious trend of this poor player development with the Kings lottery picks. Thomas Robinson, the 5th pick in 2012, became a huge bust, but that was already a horrible pick in the first place. He didn't get much playing time either. Ben McLemore, the 7th pick in 2013, who some compared to Ray Allen. Well, he didn't pan out at all and never became close to becoming as good of a shooter as Allen. Nick Stauskas, the 8th pick in 2014, had a dud of a rookie season, and the Kings traded him after that 1 year. Willie Cauley-Stein, the 6th pick in 2015, who's been mediocre at best. He was 22 when he was drafted and didn't make an immediate impact like older rookies are generally expected to do so. In the 2016 draft, they traded their 8th pick for the 13th pick, which became Georgios Papagiannis, who played a total of 38 games with the Kings before getting waived. In recent years, the Kings have been drafting better though. In 2017, with the 5th pick, they got De'Aaron Fox, who has been playing very well since his rookie year, and Marvin Bagley III in 2018, who has shown promise when he isn't hurt. Although you could say that they definitely should have taken Luka Doncic instead of Bagley, but yeah. At its essence, the Kings have been bad with drafting and developing their players. After so many screw-ups in a row, I'm convinced it's not really a coincidence anymore, and I don't really believe that it's all just a bunch of bad luck. The few picks that they actually had that turned out solid, like Hassan Whiteside in 2011 and Isaiah Thomas in 2012, didn't stay with the team for long either, unfortunately for them. Also, in 2017, they traded Cousins away to the Pelicans for basically nothing. As a random side note, the Kings were purchased by Vivek Randive in 2013, who has said that the way to play defense is to play 4 guys on defense so that the 5th can cherry pick. From this alone, you know your team won't do well when your owner has this sort of incompetent basketball philosophy. So perhaps having a terrible owner who knows nothing about the game has also contributed to the Kings' continued failure. In recent times, however, the Kings have shown much more promise, and they do have a chance to get into the playoffs this year. With the core of Fox, Hield, Bogdanovich, Bagley, and Giles, things have been seemingly going upwards for them. But given that the West is really tough, will they be able to be playoff contenders consistently? I'm honestly not too sure. But after what seemed to be perpetual rebuilding failure, the Kings have finally shown some promise, and I wish them the best. But anyway, that does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and turn on notifications. What do you think the Kings' biggest mistake so far was? What do you think of their current core? Do you think they'll be able to make the playoffs anytime soon? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, I'm out. See you guys next time.